Hello everyone and welcome to a truly innovative episode from Facilities Management Middle East. I'm Mina Vucic and today we have the privilege of diving into the world of facilities management with a company that's redefining the industry through technology and innovation. Emrill, a leading name in the field, is setting new standards right here in the heart of the region. So stay tuned as we explore how Emrill is using cutting-edge solutions to reshape the face of facilities management. With us in our ITP studios, we have Stuart Harrison, who is the CEO of Emrill, and Hussein Saifuddin, who's the head of ICT at Emrill. Stuart, Hussein, it's an absolute pleasure having you in our studios today. How are you doing this morning?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's good.
And what's new at Emrill?
Business as usual, I guess. I mean, there's always
Right.
new stuff going on every single day, but I guess business as usual. Of course, there's the normal vicissitudes of doing business in Dubai and globally, indeed. But yeah, it's going well.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
What about from the ICT side?
Yeah, very busy.
Yes.
Just been implementing things and challenging every day.
Right, new technological innovations.
Absolutely.
As it usually goes in the UAE. Now, to kick off our conversation, Stuart, I would like to ask you, how is Emrill really using all these new technologies and innovations to differentiate from maybe other competitors in the FM industry?
It's a good question to start with. So I'm not going to hurl straight into a sales pitch, but we created a thing called Techsphere. You might have seen it. We've released some PR around it. And it's basically an aggregator of all the latest technologies. So the example that I used was, I was talking to somebody yesterday and I was saying my phone. So I use an iPhone, but it's got a whole load of different applications from different service providers. So with technology moving so fast these days, you might have a great piece of technology or an application that comes from Microsoft, but then you also might have something that's been developed by some kid in his bedroom on the other side of the world that's fantastic. And you want to be able to grab those opportunities when they come along. So we've been on this journey for the last couple of years, really, and you could call it a transformation, I guess. But we created Techsphere on the basis of some conversations that me and Hussein were having about how do we capture all these things? How do we create a world, call it a metaverse or whatever you want, but a world where all these things can exist at the same time and we can grab them and seamlessly integrate them and use them. So we've launched that. It's been very, very successful. And we're all the way along that pathway now.
Thank you for that, Stuart. Now, Hussein, I wanted to jump onto you and ask you, what are Emrill's latest, let's say, technological tools available to customers, and what has really been that impact on the efficiency of the operations that you have in Emrill?
Yeah, rightly said. It started with what Stuart said. Techsphere is the launch. It's integrating all our technology into one place. The umbrella provides us an efficiency. It provides us an operations deliverable easily. And also what we identified, the new technology, whichever comes in, when we try to integrate with one umbrella, it's much more easier to deliver back to the customers. So the classic example was when we started a command center. The traditional command center was a video wall for many of the people. So though we started with it as well, then with the client requirements, with the customer visualization and the vision of our ELT as well, we thought of just put the VR top of it. So the virtual reality, what it does is actually gives you the option to then remotely accessible the real-time data from the site or a customer site itself. So one of that was there. The another thing what we did after understanding of the data, that what data qualities are missing, then our citizen developers starting the low-code platform which we recently implemented under the umbrella of Techsphere, where we are allowing the people to do the development by themselves. So that ways the technological handshake was being done with the operations team because they understand the business well.
Right.
And then lastly, once we understand the whole flow of where the data is being fed through, what information is missing or sometimes repetitive. So that's where our Techsphere umbrella's robotic processes, RPA, stand by, and what it did is we identify the repetitive tasks, automate them and make it autonomous for it. So
Right.
that was a journey, I would say.
Very interesting. But how do you select new technologies, and then how do you decide where to invest, for example?
Well, I think what's important to do is talk to your customers honestly. So, often I'm kind of old-fashioned. So we have a contract and a set of KPIs and SLA, service level agreements and things, but we kind of move that to one side and I say, what do you really want? And often
Right.
it's, we look after buildings and environments. So they want clean environments, they want safe environments, clean air, that kind of thing. And then what we do is we look at the use of technology to enhance that and make it better and more efficient. So we don't use technology for the sake of it, because we're not a tech company as such. So we don't trial new tech that it doesn't perform any function for us. It's got to add value to us or our customers, and hopefully both. So what we do is we're constantly on the lookout, we're constantly scouring, and as you can tell, these guys are passionate about what they do.
Yes.
And they're constantly, looking around for new stuff that we can look at and we can use to enhance what we do. So it's got to add value. That's the important thing.
Right, but do you come across any challenges or barriers from maybe certain investments in these innovations?
Well, we did, in the sense that, so like I said, I'm talking literally, there was a guy over in Mumbai who created something, fresh out of uni. This guy was a genius. He created an application, and we would then struggle to integrate that into our system. So that's why we created Techsphere. So
Right.
the barriers to entry for new technology was integrating them into one, because often things were either closed protocol or they didn't talk to each other. You would have kind of, what do they call it, like locally applicable solutions. But I wanted a whole solution. I don't want to carry around 10 phones with 10 different apps. I want one phone with 10 apps on it. So that's what Techsphere did. So the challenge is really, the opportunities and the technology now is almost limitless. It's certainly in the applications that we use. And the barriers to, as I said, the barriers to entry for that were having them all integrated.
Right. Thank you for that, Stuart. Now, moving on to the topic of sustainability. It's obviously a big word in the UAE and everybody talks about it. So I just wanted to ask you, how do you integrate sustainability into all these new technologies that you invest in?
Well, again, through a platform and through the correct capturing and analysis of data. So we started off with an ESG platform and app, that was easy to use, and then what we did was we loaded it with a whole bunch of data from everything from waste management, ethical recruitment, environment sustainability. Doesn't just cover LED light bulbs or something, or we're using less energy. It's a complete sustainability package. Once you've then loaded it with all the data, or you've got data to work with, we've then got data scientists. I hate to use buzzwords, but that's what these guys are. So we've got a team of those guys that are looking at this data and turning it into meaningful information that we can then make strategic decisions with. So we created, I think we were certainly one of the first to create a dedicated ESG platform that is capable of capturing all the information that we need and then interrogating it to produce information that we could use.
Right. And as I understood, you adapt really much to customers' well-being, right?
I guess so, but there's also a level of pushing innovation and talking to them, because maybe they want something that we didn't think about, or we want to push something that they didn't think about. And certainly in terms of, there's drivers in waste management, so sometimes it's financial drivers, because the government quite rightly don't want landfill, so they've put a cost to landfill. So that means you have to find better ways to manage your waste. So there's various different drivers in there. Talk to the customers for sure is one of them. Sometimes it's external drivers and pressure, and sometimes it's just coming up with good ideas.
Right. Now, moving on to you, Hussein, new technologies, they obviously require integration of various systems. So I wanted to ask you, what are the challenges in this, and how does Emrill overcome these challenges?
I think it's a very common question which has been always been
sure.
asked by in every discussions which we have with our customers, and one of the reasons what they have is they wanted to see whether the legacy systems are supported, whether our legacy systems can deliver what it is, and absolutely that's where integrations are required. People do think whether my data can be moved to my environment or not, and these are the reasons these integrations are required. So coming back to the Techsphere, what we have actually achieved via the Techsphere models, any implementation, any tools, whatever we put it across the Techsphere, what we do is we make sure the API, the application interface, is common and is public, and we know what his client needs. So we develop the APIs far before their requirement comes in. So that gives them the confidence that whatever information we capturing for their benefit, whether their assets, whether their work order information, whatever is related to CAFM, smart metering, IoT information, we capture that, and then if it's required, the API integration helps that to be delivering back to any system which needs to be integrated. On the same time, we make sure the governance has been followed. So in the ESG platform, what Stuart was referring, absolutely, it's not only capturing the information into one place or integrating. We make sure it's encrypted. It's also identified that the governance has been placed to get the quality data out of it.
Right, and Stuart did mention before about gathering data, and I really think that it's becoming increasingly more important in the FM industry. So how does Emrill's technology offerings really support this?
I mean,
Delve
for us,
into that.
yeah, for us, data is mainly like an opportunity. We treat a data as an opportunity. We identify what are the different things which can be done from the data, and the methods are different. We sometimes use reporting for the same. We sometimes add up the AI technology to look at the data in a different angle. And that's how the impact has been delivered back to the business.
Right, and just out of pure curiosity, do you mind touching upon cybersecurity and data protection? Because obviously those are two big words, and they're super important, and they're key concerns, right, with customers. So how does Emrill ensure that all these technologies are secure at the end of the day?
It's a great question. I love to talk about this question a lot. Data protection, Emrill takes data protection seriously by ourselves first. So we make sure that our data is protected for customers, and whenever we receive a data from customers in any format, it's been protected. And the protection can be different, can be looked at in a different angles. There are encryption methods, there are multi-factor methods. Depending on what type of data we are getting, we then secure it. On top of it, when it comes to cyber security, of course, the continuous checks, continuous information tracing, all that has been happening in our systems as well. One of the other things which we also make sure before deploying anything outside is the application penetration testing, which we call it sometimes WAP. There are different words for it as well, but we make sure no system, no application goes out in public for our operations or for our clients without having a proper agency certification done for that particular purpose. Also, we have a local security team within Emrill who actually checks the security first level, second level, and then we go further. So you can imagine how much it's important for us as well.
Yes, and it's great to hear that you keep our data protected. Now, unfortunately, we are running out of time. However, I wanted to ask Stuart my final question, which is, what is your vision in the next 5 years in Emrill?
I think I've said this before. I've been asked the same question, and I've said the same thing, and I want it to sound exciting, but often it sometimes doesn't, because it's very much of the same. So there's occasionally you see these punctuated step changes in our business. So I remember when, I'm old now, so I remember maybe 25 years ago, or maybe even a little bit longer, we went from paper-based systems to digital systems. And that was a big punctuated step change. COVID was a big punctuated step change. So people became more aware of the quality of their environment in terms of, air quality and the transmission of infection and things. So we occasionally do get those, but I think it's going to be a lot more over the next 5 years. I think it's going to be fast changing, but incremental. So we're going to be snatching those opportunities that I talked about. We're going to be looking for ways in making things more efficient, ways to process our data and capture our data.
Will AI help?
It certainly will do, yeah. So
I love using that word, I'm sorry.
Well, Hussein mentioned robotic process automation. So we've been using that for quite a while now. Inside, the way somebody described it to me a while ago was inside our programs, we've got these little bots that run around looking for certain touch points and certain bits of data that they can then form a picture with, and then it can tell us. And it used to be people sat at a screen doing that, and now it's artificial intelligence doing that.
There you go.
Yeah, so it's helping us. People, as soon as you mention artificial intelligence, most people think about bank. When you call your bank and a voice talks to you.
Right.
But no, it's a little bit more detail with that.
I'm sure Hussein gets excited about it when we talk about AI.
We already have image AIs. We have.
Oh, really? Okay.
We have text AIs running in our systems, which actually delivers what Stuart is referring to. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's great to hear. That's great to hear. I wish you the best of luck in the future, and hope to see you again soon in our studios. It was an absolute pleasure having both of you here.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
It's been great. Thanks.
Thank you. And there you have it, folks. Emrill, a true game changer in the facilities management sector, is harnessing technology and innovation to elevate standards in the region. Thank you for joining us on this insightful journey into their world. If you'd like to learn more about Emrill and their pioneering initiatives, don't forget to visit their website at emrill.com. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more thought-provoking interviews right here on Facilities Management Middle East. Until next time, I'm Mina, signing off.